Okay. Get everything in place here. Welcome to Relocation with AD. This is my first live. I hope you guys bear with me. And if you're not going to bear with me, then you're probably not my ideal viewer. We are going to be talking about McAllen, Texas, the McAllen Metro, which comprises of Edinburgh and Mission. Why am I talking about McAllen? I live in Chicago. By the way, my name is Anant Dioris. You can see right there in the lower left corner, I am a realtor with EXP in Chicago, and I talk urbanism. I'll get to McAllen in a second. It's kind of a roundabout way. I talk about urbanism, walking, biking, public transportation, which I have a passion for, and I believe our society is going to advance. We have to remove the reliance on car dependency. That doesn't mean to get rid of cars completely. Again, full disclosure, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I own a car. The majority of people own cars, right? Even in urbanist cities. However, we have to shift. There has to be that shift, mindset shift, and leadership needs to shift. And so what I decided to start this live kind of doing spotlights, and I'm picking cities, top cities. Let me know, folks, if you can hear me okay. Sometimes I'm too loud. I'm going to lower my mic a little bit here. So just let me know if you can see me and hear me, how the lighting is. I'd appreciate it. We are going to do 20. How do you start with the content, right? So my first city here, it has a very, very low cost of living. I'm going to add this right here, as you can see. McAllen, number one. This is based on Realtor.com. This was a late October 2024 article. Number one in cost of living. It has a very strong economic base. Right here, with major employers, as you can see here, Frito-Lay's, HEB, which I know is like almost religious status, right? For food and grocery, Mission, paving, etc. Diverse South Texas economy. And we are going to, as you can see right here, going to be talking about three reasons. McAllen, the leadership group there, legislative leadership group, released a comprehensive plan. And I got three factors here, which they're going to be focused on, and it's called McAllen 2040, right? Things take time. We're going to be talking about three things that McAllen hopes to do to increase urbanism. And I'm going to add and also mention why we're starting and what kind of my thought process is for these type of lives. Okay, I hope you guys can see this. Let me know if you can't. 20 fastest growing cities. And what so happens excuse me, let me just make sure. Okay. If you can go all the way down here, this metro area, McAllen, Edinburgh, and Mission, right? 142K is a city, and 861 is that whole metro area. So that's important because, okay, you see that delta. Where are those people going? A lot of people are moving out of the city, away from the city, and out to the suburbs, which happens. And when you have that suburbanization, more resources are needed to get back into the working centers, right? More gas is used, more car dependency. So how to kind of manage that explosive growth and also meet the needs. And it's interesting, a lot of people say, well, the people don't want this urbanism, but actually I'm going to be sharing. So this is what we're starting with. We're starting with McAllen. I'm going to stop that screen. So we are going to go to the actual the development plan. Um, I'm going to, again, right, my first live in a while, so please bear with me. Let me just make sure to pull this up. Okay. Oh, no. Where is it? There we go. Okay. So here's the actual plan. I pulled out the transportation and mobility portion of McAllen's development plan. And oh, by the way, if you want to get it, it is McAllen2040.com. That's McAllen2040.com. I'll post it in the comments if you want, if you got time, you want to see the whole development plan. But look at some of these numbers here. Very, very interesting. So this is the kind of current mix, right, of how people are getting around. 13,000, can you believe that, is spent households on transport. Is just unbelievable, right? But what do the people want? So we're going to go down here to this slide. Let me, there we go. Hopefully you guys, again, let me know if you can see. If you can see it, I'm going to post McAllen.com. Okay, I post the website. So look here, 91%, kind of extrapolating what that current mix is. 91% of residents drive to their destination, work, fun, school, parks. That's insane. But look at this. Look at this mix. 14% want to drive, 45% want to walk, 23% want to bike, and 19% want to ride transit. So look at that mix, right? So the demand is there, but obviously you need a capital outlay. And unfortunately, right, with a very strong car lobby, that's kind of be the uphill battle. But let's break down before we get into the kind of each of those factors, right? We're going to start here with BRT, bus rapid transit. I'm going to stop this, and we're going to bring in, let's bring in, add to the stage, and make myself, I should be diminished. Okay, so development of bus transit here, right? In a perfect world, every one of these great growing cities that meets the needs of residents, light rail would be great. I know, and many people I know, Austin is doing light rail. They've exploded. I mean, I believe they're number one on this growth list, and I'll get to that eventually. I'm going to be doing each of these cities, folks. My good urban dwellers, 20 of these, right? Hopefully every single week, but getting down eventually to number one. So in lieu of that capital intensive infrastructure that would needed and costs of a light rail, you go this bus rapid transit. Most cities, all cities have buses. It's a matter of retrofitting existing streets to basically meet this BRT and have dedicated bus lanes. So let's see what they hear. Some of the highlights: dedicated bus lanes to avoid traffic, great. Elevated platforms, right? Intersection treatments and prioritization traffic signals to enhance speed and efficiency. I know here in Chicago, in the Chicagoland, the shoulder of the roads are dedicated only to this rapid transit, and you can get fined if you use them. So that enables people who aren't using what we call the Metra train line, which is a commuter rail. They can use PACE. I believe it's called PACE. That's how they decided to use it for the interstate travel. But for the downtown area here in the city of McAllen, this is what they're proposing as far as the rapid transit. So that's one. Two here is this complete streets and Vision Zero proposal and strategy. Complete streets, and they have several types. I'm just going to talk about type one. Has, as you can see here, right over here. It's basically to make changes to protect bike lanes, create roundabouts. It's really focusing. You see my cursor on inclusivity for pedestrians, bicyclists, and transit riders. It's exactly all about urbanism. Urbanism, folks, you have the hub, which is urbanism, and the spokes are better walking, better biking, better public transit. And what do all three of those things do, right? They reduce car dependency. And then that fourth factor, which also why I'm involved here, being a realtor, half the time of my life here in Chicago, I've been a licensed realtor, is to help with housing, because we're not going to be able to tackle this housing issue without having all those elements. And then, oh, by the way, having incremental density, so that housing costs will go down, because it doesn't make no sense to have these great urban elements, but then the housing is through the roof, and so that only a few can afford it instead of reaching the masses. That's the eventual, right? We've got the baby steps. So that's two. Let me get over to the type here. So you have, let's see here. You have some of these. The reason why I wanted to focus on type 1 is they are mainly for the urban centers, the downtown, and that mixed use neighborhood. So this is what they're planning to do, having a higher percent of right of way, active roadside users, shade, something that's like underrated, having more trees to help protect pedestrians, parking lane figurations, like with the bike lanes. I have a video here. I want to show you how they can protect bike lanes. I'll show you in one second. And oh, by the way, right, in planting more trees obviously helps with the environmental issues and heat. People in McAllen are dealing with, routinely 80, 90 degrees with very, very high humidity. So that will definitely help with cooling the roads. But as far as I mentioned with the protected bike lanes, let's remove that. And I want to show you a real quick video. Okay, let's find it. There we go. Share. Okay, I believe you guys can see this. I'm going to go there. Let's go ahead and go all the way back. Let me play this. You can see here's one side. This is going southbound, the protected bike lane, right, with the other road for cars. It goes out there. But if you go back on the northbound, this is in a neighborhood in Chicago, Wicker Park, where actually I lived for 16 years. If I pause this, you can see those cars there, and you see these spokes. The bike lanes, if I keep playing it, you're going to notice. So you see this person right there, my cursor going. You can see those people going. So there is parking. Stop sharing. Okay. There is, you have just the dedicated lines with the spokes to protect, but on the northbound side, you have actually parked cars in a section that protect the pedestrians and the bikers. In that particular, that's a bike lane. So the bikers from the transit, from the cars that going. So that's one way of doing it. So Chicago in that stretch, it's called Milwaukee, has kind of that hybrid approach. So you can have parked cars, right? Parallel park, not diagonal, that can protect the biker from the incoming traffic, right? Instead of like with a lot of streets all throughout the nation, not just in Chicago or McAllen, it's like, oh my God, it's like Frogger. You're on your bike, you have the car right here, and all the bike people are opening the doors. So it's a nightmare. So that's what I'm glad that in this comprehensive, I'm gonna add this back. Here we go. So if we go to, that's what they're doing here with, having the bike friendly infrastructure. And then kind of expanding. So you have the BRT, bus rapid transit, you have these complete streets, and you also have this mission. Let me make sure I get the wording correct. Mission, what is it called? Excuse me. Vision Zero, they're trying to reduce car fatalities. And there's proven, and I hate this as a car driver, no one wants to go 20 miles an hour, but it's proven if there happens to be an impact, the percentages are less as far as fatalities. I want to show that. That's very important. Let me remove that. And let's go to, here we go. Okay. So what I want to show what happened there? Okay. Let's show, here it is. And it may be difficult to read. Okay. So you see this right here? If you're going 20 miles an hour, is a 5% chance of fatality. And it incrementally increases as every 10 miles. So it's very, very important. So that's what they're trying to do. That's what the strategy of the McAllen legislative order is trying to do, is to reduce that as part of, McAllen 2040. Other stuff I wanted to show within here, they have some concepts, right? What potentially stuff would look out, what the retrofit would look out. It's very, very interesting. I strongly recommend you pull this again. McAllen2040.com. You can pull the PDF from here. It explains the type of streets that are needed. So I think that's really, really interesting to me. And if you are an urban dweller and you see the cost of living, I'm going to show you some real estate fairly soon. So, oh, hey, I didn't see you, David. Thanks for, wow. One of my accountability partners, I'm going to give him a shout out. David is amazing, amazing guy. He has, let me stop sharing this. He has a wonderful channel, folks. We'll do a really quick plug for him. Living in Omaha. Now, he didn't pay me, or maybe my check's in the mail. How about that, David? But David, great guy, living in Omaha, and he's a pro. So this live streaming. So thanks, David, for joining. I appreciate it, buddy. So yeah, you wouldn't think something like Texas, right? With all the focus on Austin and Dallas and San Antonio. I mean, they got 4 major cities, just a powerhouse state. Don't forget, right? And oh, by the way, they're so close to Mexico. You have the port right there, port of entry, 45 minutes from Brownsville, Texas. So it's very, very strategic, and it's just going to continue to grow. So, great cost of living. I'm really happy. I'm pleasantly surprised. And as I go through these 20 cities, folks, this is my hope, is to kind of get a hold of, and I may have to go to their city site and find their development plan, because all these cities, where you like it or not, doesn't matter what side of the aisle, although, from my research, more center to left appreciates the urbanism, and your center to right shoot out to the suburbs. But obviously, that could change, right? I don't think anyone wants to sit in a car for 45 minutes. I know I don't. So if they can have something rapid, you can get work done, you can read a book, jump on a bus. It's just, there's going to be kinks, right? With getting it corrected. So I really hope by 2040, or if not later, they can implement this plan. As far as real estate, so let me know. I'm going to pause for a little bit if you got any questions on those kind of 3 elements. Again, it's bus rapid transit, this concept of a complete street, where they'll be retrofitting existing streets, and they have strategies for what they're going to do with new streets to make bike protected lanes to protect people, with the whole emphasis of increasing walkability increasing biking, of course, right? Not only is it going to help your physical health, but it'll help your mental health, just give you clarity to be able to get the fresh air, and get out there walking and biking. And then, of course, the public transit part of it will be this bus. That's what their kind of three-headed monster is. But, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about real estate. It's what I do. It's my bread and butter. And I help folks everywhere. If you want to go to Omaha, one of the best right there. I can help you, David, out there in Omaha, but anywhere. If you appreciate urbanism, you want to go to cities, but you're not sure. You may have a job transfer in McAllen. So you want to know, okay, am I going to be driving my car more and more, or are they going to put these steps in? So reach out to me. I'd be happy to connect you with a realtor. And actually, if you want to rent. I'm not the type of agent that's going to try to push you one way or the other. But let's talk about some real estate numbers here. I'm going to show you what the median pricing is. Let's go, and I'm going to pull that. Okay. Let's share. Oh, whoops, sorry, excuse me. Got to find the right one. So actually here I found it. This is a particular home. It was 277. I'm sorry. I don't know where. I'll have to find that slide. But 277 was a median pricing for single family homes. The majority of homes out here are single family homes. You can see this home right here. I mean, fantastic price, under 200. It's also why the cost of living was number one. As many of you know, your housing is a huge part of the cost outlay. But I wanted to kind of highlight this particular home. That's not bad at all. 56 on the walk score, 54 on the bike score. Of course, it's still, as we stand right now, a car dependent city. Hopefully that stuff will change down the road. And while you're looking at that, I will pull, okay. You're right. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm looking here at Mr. David. In your opinion, which city has the best plan in places for? Wow. Well, that's a good question, David. I would say it has to be broken out by kind of size, because I would say from a large city perspective, like Washington, D.C. is one of the best, if not the best. Like New York's in its own category, and like San Francisco's in its own category, but they have their own challenges. But if you're saying, and then also you have to break it apart. Like, do you want light rail versus just bus? So it's a very, very loaded question. I don't mean not to answer that, but I would say, and this is someone who's almost a lifelong Chicagoan. It pains me to say, but like I believe like DC is best. They've done a lot of allocation, and really beefed up a lot of their infrastructure. I've been doing some research like on Vox and a couple of urbanism pages that DC is really good. But my focus here is like a lot of my content is going to be, okay, this is why. I'm going to go back really quick to, let me stop sharing this. Okay. Let me go back, share screen. Let's go. Okay. So let me know if you can see this. I believe it's on there. Yep. I'm going to go smaller screen, and let's go here. So if you see on here are these, this is where my focus is, because I believe we have to really focus where the people are going. Because the challenge here is people that are leaving, there's just not going to be enough tax dollars and not going to be enough funds to support, which is really pains me to say, right? I don't know what without government intervention. Now, Biden had that infrastructure, not to get too political, but he had a really good infrastructure bill. You know, is Trump going to claw back a lot of those funds? If so, a lot of the larger cities, particularly like the Chicagos and the San Franciscos and Bostons where people are leaving, they're not going to have the dollars. So this, you see this list here, right? I want to focus on the Arizonas. I think the question is like, from what is the best for urban, is we need to focus, where are people going? They're going to Texas, they're going to Arizona, they're going to Florida, they're going to Charleston. So if you look at this top, you know, with number one, you know, I'll reveal it, Austin, and you see Raleigh. What are these 20 cities? What I'm not hearing, I'm hearing all the great development and the new Cheesecake Factory and the new, you know, corporate blah, 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 you know, restaurant, which is great, right? But what are these, and this is what I'm going to be talking about. What are these 20 top that I found here? This is exploding. If you guys want to know, explodingtopics.com, I'll share the link if you can't see it. What are they doing to address what is going to be the public's demand for transit outside of the car? Because it's just going to eventually add. And then a lot of these states, they don't have state income tax. Like, where's the money coming from? I'm hearing Texas wants to lower their property tax, which I love. My property tax is through the roof. Where's the money going to come from? It's got to come from somewhere. So that's what I'm really curious on, what those 20 are going to do. And then from that list of where people are going, we'll probably be able to uncover what the best. Thanks, David. Thanks. What the best will be. And also it's going to take another 10, 15, because all of these plans, comprehensive plans, they have great ideas, really, really bodacious ideas that just never come to fruition. Why? Because car lobby, they're going to sink their teeth in here, which is just going to further devote more tax dollars to roads. And I understand we have to maintain the roads, but it just comes to a point where how many lanes do we need? You know, let's have one or two of those lanes dedicated bus. If you can't put light rail in there, let's put a dedicated bus. I know you, I'm not saying you, David, I'm saying you as in the public may want to have your car. I'm not taking your car away from you. Freedom, right? Rock and roll. But there's a lion's share of people would appreciate that. And also you have to, I mean, there's a crime component, which I know people don't want to talk about, that's happening in the cities related to public transit. Okay, we got to get transit cops on there. So I know it's a lot of big stuff. This is what I'm going to be tackling, and I'm hoping I'll make it as exciting as possible, so no one's sleeping. But that's what I'm talking about. So I think I'm about how long am I going here? Oh, okay, almost 30 minutes. Yeah, there's not much with McAllen. Still, it's the smallest city, even though it's fastly growing from a metro, but from a city perspective, it's about 142. I believe North Charleston is about 143,000 from this top 20 list. But I thought that was really very, very curious to start. And of course, I encourage people to reach out to me. I'm going to put you can comment here below. I'm going to put in the, you know what I'll do is I'll put in this link. Let me stop sharing that. Here is the link to that top 20 list. See if that goes. You can reach out. I'm going to put this, the best way, throw that on there. You can, of course, if you want to, if I'm providing value, you can subscribe to the channel. It's not necessary, but I'd rather have you just watch the lives. But the second best thing is subscribe. There is it's relocation with AD. It's a simple search in YouTube on your browser if you're watching on TV or on your laptop. Put that in there and you can send me messages. You can email me. I'll throw my email too if you've got topics. And as people come on here organically, if you have any topics you want to address, I'm definitely open. But for these first 20, I just thought the growth cities were a very interesting topic on a weekly basis. Thanks, Dave. I promise you guys I didn't pay David, but I appreciate that. I'm saying he's doing awesome. So this is interesting. I think this is a very, very interesting. Is this your weekly live stream time? Okay, that's another great question. So I'm going to be a little vulnerable here right now to the one person that's watching. Hopefully, when it ends, people will watch. Yeah, I'm trying to make my weekly Sunday evenings. I had a little snafu. I'm learning. I'm using StreamYard, and thanks, David, my accountability partner, and Sandra. I know Sandra, you're out there somewhere. They recommended StreamYard, and I mean those guys are pros. I haven't used this in a while, so. Oh, David, hey, while you're there, how's my lighting? Let me know, and audio. Did you? I don't know if you commented on that. I can probably. Oh yeah, you did. Okay, cool, you did. So what I'm hoping, 8 p.m. Central Sundays. That is the plan. I'll do a better job of scheduling it, so you know. But I needed to get myself in there doing this, getting comfortable. So I just decided, F it. Thanks, David. Appreciate it. I said, F it. I need to do it. I need to do it, get myself comfortable, and kind of see. And I'm hoping maybe on the replay, numbers hopefully will look better. And if the public wants other topics, like I said, I'm open. However, this channel, while it's focused on relocation, it's urban relocation. And if I'm beating a dead horse, so be it. Walkability, biking, public transit, and housing related to all three, with car independence, being independent from the car. Yeah, you're right. You're right, David. You're absolutely right. So if that's what you want, you understand that being in the urban center could be expensive, but hopefully with incremental density, that increased supply will help down the road in bringing down prices there. Let's say you and your significant other want to stay in the city, in the city proper, and you need to have a resource. I'm going to be a resource, and I will be speaking again from the Chicago perspective, just because of my longevity staying here, being in Illinois all my life and 25 plus years. Went to Loyola for undergrad, as you can see right there. Loyola grad, proud Loyola grad. And of course, my cubbies right over here. Just in case you guys want to know, I got some Funko Pops right over here. I've got Superman, Batman, Darkseid, Vader. So that's what we're going to be talking about, and where to go. And it's not going to be the Bostons and New Yorks and San Franciscos and DC. A lot of my content will focus on there because they already have it established, but I want to find one of these days I'm going to force David to jump on here, and we're going to tackle Omaha together. You know, there may be some like sneaky areas where they're doing some good stuff, or not. And again, if they're not doing it, I understand this takes time. So I'm never going to degrade a city that, I mean, heck, I'm I have elderly parents. I'm hanging out with them in the suburbs. I got to take the car to go anywhere. It is what it is, right? I could probably take a bus, but it'd just be inconvenient. But that, of course, that's maybe some of my privilege speaking. Not many people can do that. So that's what we'll be talking about. I'll try to stop saying too much. Excellent point, David. Excellent point. If cities want to attract the best and brightest for future growth. Yeah. And, listen, there is, I think there's such thing as smart suburbia. I'm going to do my research on that, with meaning, like, for example, I could live out in the suburbs, for example, let's say in Naperville, and take that Metro, which is a commuter line. Now, it'd be smart to live close to that Metro, so I wouldn't have to necessarily take the car to the Metro. But then again, housing in that vicinity is just very popular, and costs are up. I've sold many like condos and townhomes in that structure. So that's why I'm saying it goes hand in hand, but you could definitely do that. So there is opportunities to still live in suburbia. My goal is for everyone to still remain in the city, but again, it's not for everybody. It will post, if you click on the comment, it will post on the screen. Oh, okay. Got it. Thanks, David. You had so many comments. I forgot to do that. So I guess I need to. I'll need to talk to you offline on how to make sure I'm, because when you have a lot of comments on here, how to manage that. Imagine the top heavy hitting live streamers have a moderator. So um, okay. So I don't want to keep rambling, but this was McAllen. Um, Interesting city. I didn't think I was going to talk about. I was about those big four I mentioned: Austin, Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas. I'm definitely going to be talking about those areas. But this is interesting what they're doing, and that's why I named this bold approach. Are they going to come through with it? And now that development plan was released in 2023. So I have to dig a little deeper to find out what has been done in all of 2024. Okay, this takes time. A lot of this takes time. I better moderate myself. Oh, you want to moderate mine? So yeah. Well, okay, I'm going to stay on here for another about 5-10 minutes. It's interesting. This streaming is really interesting. I thought about doing also like LinkedIn and Instagram. I tested and it worked. I don't know, David, if you're doing that. Let me know if you're still there. Let me know if you're streaming to other platforms. Oh, you are? Or maybe that could be something else. Let me see if I have any other tabs on here. Oh, okay. On YouTube. Great. Okay. Let's see. While we have a couple more minutes, I'm going to show my kind of the structure of my. I'm not going to do this every week. Just in the beginning, few weeks, how my YouTube page is structured, and just kind of give you a kind of insight of what I'm doing. Some of you may agree, some of you may not. And like I said, this may end up being fluid, but for the here and now, just to kind of keep me accountable, I have playlists. David and I were both part of some great coaching, playlists as far as, let's see, 1 second here. Let me go to dashboard. Or no, I want to go. Okay. So I know this is a pregnant pause. Okay. All right. Let's share the screen. Okay. So this is my YouTube. I just wanted to show you this kind of how I have it structured. I have 4 main playlists you can see here. Technically, I start off with my housing. So think of housing from an urban perspective, and speaking of housing issues in the cities, right? In the cities, singular typically. Then I go to urban relocation. This is where I pick a city and I talk about it. It's not necessarily about real estate, but I talk about what efforts they're doing, what the current infrastructure is, what the future infrastructure could be. Then I go to a top 10. And for example, if you just kind of want to see what I've talked about. So like I did top 10 cities to buy a home for less than $250, underrated cities, I know I'm looking at, and then affordability. I do touch on affordability because that's what I mentioned, right? You get a lot of people that want to stay in the city. It's just not affordable. Well, where can they go where they can still get that balance of urbanism plus some affordability? So I talk about it there. If we go to, and then I go to urban cities, the difference between the top 10 urban cities, I may talk about like 5 cities, not necessarily 10. Top 10, I guess, and what we've learned is good to have that in the title. And then finally, like urban cities, I talked about, you see that corrupt there. what cities are collapsing. I did one. I really enjoyed doing this. Didn't do too well, but urbanism, right? I gave grades with S being that is developed by the Japanese is like the supreme, which America doesn't really have one. But then I graded from A to F. What cities are doing it well, and I picked 6 here. And then I did my latest is actually there's a situation where you're going to have to move the suburbs no matter what. If you make a compromise with your partner, right? Maybe she or he wants to go and you don't, you pick something that's right in between. So I found these cities, for example, one was Arlington, which was only like 6-7 miles from Washington, D.C., but it was considered a suburb. So that's the kind of how like my content is structured. My goal is every week to do that weekly video. And then of course the live stream, which I've mentioned, the plan is to go every Sunday night. Okay, I stream to LinkedIn and on OTP, I guess. So that's so this is what he said, I stream to LinkedIn. Okay, wonderful. So, okay. Well, apparently I have 3 people. Woohoo! It's 3 people. I guarantee you guys it's not my mom or dad. I don't know if that's good or bad. So there's 3 people that are watching right now. Oh, this is fun. This is fun. Let me see on here. I better moderate myself. Okay. Okay. So with a couple more people coming on there, if you had any questions or like potential topics, let me know. Otherwise, I am going to log off here in a couple of minutes. I believe I tackled everything I needed to tackle. And as I mentioned, right, like I might not be able to have the development plan, but like I said, it'll be a lot of just kind of sharing the screen on some interesting topics within that city. And 19 is going to be Oklahoma. Let me see. I'll give you guys a sneak peek. What I'm going to talk about next is going to be, Oklahoma City, the OK Metro, which I think will be interesting. That's 681,000 is the city and almost 1.4 is the metro. A sizable increase. I think 11%. I believe they're comparing metros. Now, this is also using census. I want to make sure I give the sources. U.S. Census. That's what the Exploding Topics did. They took U.S. Census data, and the last one was 2020. So from 2010 to 2020. So I'm going to put on, okay, let's hide that. There we go. Again, to subscribe, that's youtube.com/relocation with AD again, or you can just type in relocation with AD in the search bar, or actually type in that URL. And before I go again, Oklahoma will be the next, Oklahoma City, next topic for this coming up Sunday. Thanks for the couple that were on. And until next time.